No end in sight for Eskom's troubles. The utility is investigating the cause of the fire that broke out at the Kendal Station in Mpumalanga. The incident resulted in one unit being damaged, causing other units to trip as well. This is another impact of the ongoing electricity crisis. For more on this, we speak now to Ted Blom, who's a mining and energy advisor. Ted, off air, just before we came to you, I was saying to you that we always speak to you when there's some kind of incident or tragedy at Eskom, and that those seem to be happening more and more frequently. And you commented that Eskom doesn't quite face up to the situation. Why do you say that?
Yes, look, Eskom, under the current management, seem to be on a journey to spin their way into a success. They haven't got the handle on all the issues at this power station, and in the last couple of years, the last 10 or 12 years, Eskom has been taking more and more shortcuts, and as part and parcel of the corruption, they are not doing what they need to do. So what we find is that the system is more and more vulnerable. The current example at Kendal, again, is an illustration of ineptitude and systems not being properly implemented, and shortcuts being taken, and budget cuts being implemented, where systems are actually critical to the operations. In this example, I mean, the alarm had been going off for quite a while, from what I understand, and it's not uncommon for alarms at Eskom's systems to go off for a long time and often get ignored by the operating personnel. I mean, they have the similar pan control room, they have a control room at the power station, and they have another control room at Megawatt Park. And amongst the three control rooms, it seems to me that they missed the alarms going off.
So that must have further exacerbated and worsened the situation there. What do you think the likely impact or knock-on effect could be? Are we expecting to see power cuts in the coming days?
Okay, so one unit is down, so that's about 680 odd megawatts. Two other units have been affected and taken down. That's another 1,200 megawatts. So we're talking about the shortfall, as we stand here today, of around about 2,000 megawatts. I assume that the 1,200 megawatts will come back online within the next week or so. But depending on how bad the damage is at the unit number one, I mean, I think, and depending on whether the Department of Labour actually gets its act together to do an industrial investigation, accident investigation, it could take a year or longer for that unit to come back online.
Usually when we speak to you, it's sort of directly on the day of when something has happened. And then we talk about the processes, what investigations need to be done. Those investigations, no doubt, go on in the background. But very rarely do we come back and touch on those investigations again to see where are we in the process, what has been found out in the interim, and if there is corruption, negligence, whether on a small scale or a grand scale, by the looks of it in the case of Eskom, those things very rarely come to light. Where are we in terms of the past year, in terms of investigations that have been conducted into similar incidents like this?
Okay, so the Medupi accident, which is South Africa's largest industrial accident in terms of damage, size of the damage, that investigation is still at the very preliminary level. I've called on the Union of Labour to actually get involved because, notwithstanding the fact that nobody was killed or injured in that particular accident, other than trauma, the impact or the possible impact on life and death is massive. I mean, you had an explosion at Medupi that was heard and felt 15 kilometers away. In this case, yeah, again, if certain parts of the bushes get damaged, again, you will have loss of life. You will have massive loss of life. So the fact that it hasn't resulted in loss of life doesn't mean it's a willy-nilly accident. This is an accident that deserves proper investigation, proper mitigation measures to be taken over time. And as I said, with the Medupi accident, there are shortcomings in Eskom's protocols. And I said there were 90 other generators that would have similar risks attached to them. and it's time for an independent audit to be done to uncover all the shortcomings and ineptitude at Eskom that's been going on for, as I said, the best part of 20-odd years since Eskom was nationalized by the ANC, and they decided to deploy cadre deployment rather than on merit.
So you say that Eskom doesn't have the right protocols in place, that an investigation of this size into the Medupi incident specifically might take years. So am I right in saying that in the meantime, there's all likelihood that while the investigation is ongoing and without the right protocols in place to mitigate the situation and make fixes to those protocols right now, it's very likely that such an incident could repeat itself?
No, absolutely. There's another 89 or now 88 other incidents, similar incidents that could happen simultaneously, or God forbid, but are at risk of happening. Yes, absolutely, you're right.
Thank you very much. Ted Blom painting a very bleak picture there of Eskom, another one unit at Kendal Power Station catching fire overnight. Ted Blom is a mining and energy expert.